Live, this is Fox 56 News, First at 10, with Dane Moran and Ryan Cummings.
First at 10, 7 people are hurt tonight, some in critical condition after a car plows into them as they were walking down the street.
5 of them were children. It happened in a residential neighborhood around 1 o'clock this afternoon in Mountaintop. Fox 56's Brian Sheehan is joining us live with an update tonight on their conditions. Brian.
Good evening, Dane and Ryan. Tonight, this dark residential street remains quiet, but as you can imagine, that is a stark contrast to what it was like here just a few hours ago. And tonight, we have learned that 1 adult remains in serious condition at Geisinger, Wyoming Valley. 2 children were treated earlier. They have since been released. Meanwhile, 1 adult and 2 children remain in critical condition at Geisinger, Danville. And within the past hour, a 3rd child has been updated to fair condition. Police say this all happened as 8 members of a family were walking on the side of the southbound lanes on Alexander Boulevard, not far from their home, when a car traveling in the opposite direction crossed the center lines and plowed into them before coming to a stop on a front lawn yards away. Of those 7 injured, police tell us 5 were flown to area hospitals. 2 were taken by ambulance. The driver of this Nissan stayed on scene and at last check was being questioned by Rice Township Police. When we stopped by the station earlier, several of the driver's friends were outside waiting to hear what happened. They told us they hadn't spoken to her, but that she was on her way home from work at the time the incident took place. We spoke to a neighbor who was the first on scene moments after this happened. She's an emergency medicine physician at Lehigh Valley Hospital in Hazleton and saved that infant's life.
It's always hard when it's a baby, but you have to do what you have to do. And I said a quick thank you because when I was able to open her airway up and she took that breath, nobody was happier than me. She was doing better then. So thank God for that.
Investigators used spray paint to mark the scene. They'll work to reconstruct exactly what happened in the coming days. And again, we have learned 1 adult remains in serious condition at Geisinger, Wyoming Valley. 2 children treated and released. Another adult and 2 children remain in critical condition at Geisinger Hospital in Danville, and a 3rd child has since been upgraded to fair condition. Now, police questioned the driver, a middle-aged woman, for several hours this afternoon. We'll keep you updated as we learn more tonight and, of course, throughout the weekend and in the coming days. Live tonight in Rice Township, Brian Sheehan, Fox 56 News, First at 10.
All right, thanks, Brian. A Sullivan County man is dead after an accident with a water tanker. It happened on Route 487 this morning in Fairmont Township. Police say the man drove into the back of the water tanker and then hit the guardrail. The man who was driving the tanker was not hurt.
Police in East Stroudsburg arrested this man, 26-year-old LaShawn Sanders. Sanders is accused of shooting a man on Barnum Street yesterday. He's now facing homicide charges. It happened at this apartment complex yesterday. The 25-year-old victim, who was shot in the chest, later died at the hospital.
The most powerful hurricane to target the United States since 2005 is bearing down on the Texas coast. Hurricane Harvey is now a Category 4.
Homeland Security says more than 4.5 million people are in Hurricane Harvey's way. President Trump is getting briefed regularly on the storm. Mandatory evacuations are in effect for many areas. The storm could hang around for days. Officials are saying even if you are 100 miles inland, you may not be safe. And a local volunteer with the American Red Cross is headed down to Texas to help with those who may soon find themselves in need. Lynn Muchler-Stash left early this afternoon, and she'll spend at least the next 2 weeks down there helping hurricane victims.
Lynn's going to be, she was trained in shelter management and feeding, but she was actually assigned to a shelter management position. It could change when she gets there, depending on the devastation, what happens tonight and tomorrow. But right now she's scheduled to be a manager of a shelter.
The Red Cross says more volunteers from our area could be deployed in the coming days. And ahead, we have more on how Hurricane Harvey will impact your gas prices, how President Trump will have to deal with the disaster, and how FEMA is helping Texans.
From your weather authority, this is your Fox 56 News First Forecast.
So, of course, the eyes of the weather world have converged on East Texas. Mind you, this is the first major storm, that being Category 3 or above, to make landfall with the United States since Wilma in 2005. So over 4,000 days until this moment, as Harvey is right now making landfall. In fact, you can see the eye of the storm sitting right over top of the coastline. There it is, making landfall. And boy, it is going to be messy for the folks of the Lone Star State. Some models forecasting upwards of 2 feet of rain. That would be catastrophic, to say the least. Of course, we will continue to monitor Harvey as well as what's happening here in northeastern Pennsylvania. I'll be back in about 10 minutes to break it all down.
All right, thanks, Mike. A Carbon County man now facing felony rape charges for allegedly assaulting a disabled woman. Police in Weatherly are now investigating, and Fox 56's Jamie Ennis joins us now. So, Jamie, this happened at a nursing home.
Yeah, Ryan. Burton Young is a resident at Weatherwood Healthcare and Rehabilitation. An employee there says she found the 65-year-old forcing himself onto another patient. That woman suffers from severe dementia and could not recall the incident when asked by police, but she told them she would never consent to something like that. The police chief says he's been there more than 20 years and rarely has to deal with incidents like this.
We've had a good working relationship with the home over the years, and just one of those incidents that unfortunately happens every once in a while, whether it's inside that facility or within a community.
Weatherwood released a statement saying the administration and staff are fully committed to providing a safe environment for our employees and residents. A former patient demonstrated behavior inconsistent with our policies, thus requiring us to contact the appropriate authorities. Now, Young is charged with raping a mentally disabled person, as well as indecent exposure and indecent assault of a person with mental disability. Dane? Jamie, thank you. Records at the Thomas C. Thomas building in Wilkes-Barre were damaged by a water leak. The building houses Luzerne County government documents. According to our news gathering partners at the Times Leader, the building had a faulty sprinkler. The DA's office says records are being moved out of that facility to another one in Hanover Township. And new at 10 tonight, Luzerne County residents are calling a property damaged by fire a public safety hazard. Fox 56's Katie Berlin is live in our newsroom tonight with more on why the house is still standing. Katie?
Yeah, Dane, people living around this house on North Walnut Street in Luzerne Borough say the structure is collapsing. Animals are moving in and it's inviting crime. But their biggest question is, why has nothing been done about it?
9-year-old Serenity loves dancing outside her grandma's home, but she worries about playing near the house next door.
Me and my cousins, we like dancing on the sidewalk, and my cousin almost stepped on a piece of glass. And when she stepped on a piece of glass, I said, there's glass right there. And then we looked at the house and there was just a whole bunch of glass everywhere.
That house went up in flames in a fire 7 months ago, and residents are wondering why it's taking so long to be taken care of.
I have grandkids that come out here and play, you know, and stuff constantly falling off the house. There's rats running around.
John Swainbank's house backs up to the burned property and says he can still smell it from across the street.
You got a ton of kids that skateboard down the hill. They come down here, and all you need to do is have one of them over there and have something collapse. That roof up there is just about ready to fall in.
Some say the borough hasn't given them a straight answer about what's happening with the building.
They should at least inform us, even if he said, okay, it's in the process of being sold. Okay, at least let us know.
There's no communication from the Luzerne Borough government. So the people, you know, they don't know what's going on, yet they have to live next to this dirty building. And it's dangerous, too.
The mayor of Luzerne says back and forth between the property owner and insurance company has delayed progress, but that the borough is on top of it.
I would like to be not so burnt down, and so people could actually feel safe.
And again, the mayor of the borough did say that they're on top of dealing with the property and that there is a sale in the works that's supposed to go through next month with a contractor to develop the building. Live in the newsroom, Katie Berlin, Fox 56 News, first at 10.
Allegiant Airlines will no longer be flying out of the Wilkes-Barre-Scranton Airport. It has been there since 2012. Allegiant is pulling most of its planes from smaller airports around the country. The airport will replace Allegiant with another airline, but has not yet announced which one.
A local man is lucky to be alive tonight. Hear his story of how a DOC employee saved his life.
And it has truly been an interesting day for weather, not only in Pennsylvania, but in Texas as well, as Hurricane Harvey is making landfall right now. We'll not only take a look here at the weather in Pennsylvania this weekend, we'll also take a look at what's going on in East Texas when we come right back.